Hi everyone, it's Crafty Tina's. Today is a fun video. I'm going to show you how to use spiral binding. This is a 4-to-1 pitch, which means 4 holes per inch. Spiral binding, which means it's these little round plastic little squirrely little things. They're cute, they go all over the place. They are plastic, not wire. The universal cinch can use the 4-to-1 pitch spiral. This is the 1/2 inch. It came from Amazon and I will post the link. I love the clear. I don't know why, I just think it's really cool. It's not totally clear or see-through, but actually in the camera it looks like it's see-through. Here it just looks like it's a shimmery shine because it's just reflecting all the light. Now, let me explain, this video is not for just people with a universal cinch. If you have the original cinch or the mini cinch, and it doesn't matter if it's a round hole or a square hole, you can use this binding in a notebook using the other two machines. And I know that's what they tell us we can't do, but this is Crafty Tina's channel and we can do anything we set our mind to. So last night when I was prepping to make a different video, I was playing with the spirals, I was threading them on, and the holes got my attention. I'm like threading it in. I'm like, this is just like a couple of holes punched together. Well, wait a minute. If this is just holes punched together, why do we need the universal cinch? Well, you need the universal cinch for other binding, I agree. But for this spiral, could we really do spiral binding in a different cinch, not the one it's intended for? So you know me, I had to get out my scrap paper. I literally sat on the floor because my desk was a mess, and I played. And because I've done that, we can now make spiral bound notebooks. These are soft cover. These are not our typical hardcover notebooks. Those are the big fancy ones. They're the nice thick ones. I wanted a soft cover book, and what better way to make a soft cover book than with a spiral lightweight binding. This is done with a universal cinch. It has all these little long slit-like holes, has 5 of them. We simply pushed in 1 through 5, put our paper at 0.5, punched our holes, and turned our little spiral binding up, which you're going to see how I do that in a little while. Because I've made one of these using the universal cinch in my first video on this machine, and that would have been on Tuesday, so 2 days ago. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do it on the other 2 machines. So let's get this one off the counter, and let's start with my first. This was the first machine I bought. It is the round holes. It is the original cinch. This machine does the double loop wire that's 2-to-1 pitch. I like the wire. It's pretty. You can get it in a few different colors. Not as many colors as you can get the spiral in, but you can get these in a few different colors. This makes a very nice, elegant notebook. A little heavier because it is wire. Once you clamp this, you cannot remove it without damaging the wire. When you swirl this little thing up in there, you can remove it, take out pages, put pages in, and put it back. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted this. Another reason is it is a single loop, not a double. It's just little plastic ones. It's very soft to the touch if you were giving this to a child. It's cute, and it's lightweight. This is perfect for a little coloring book, a little journal, a little tablet, something to put in your purse, and this is 1/2 inch. I bought the 1/4 inch and it is tiny. That's for another video. I gotta see if it even works. But now, everybody's waiting, right? How do you do 4-to-1 pitch spiral in your 2-to-1 pitch machine? Well, the only way to do it is to let me figure it out for you, and you come here and get your instructions. So we are going to do the 1/4 page size, and we are going to punch on the 5.5 inch side of the paper. So we're punching on the 5.5, and as you can see, because this is blue so you can see it better, it is literally 2 holes that are cut out jointly. Instead of the typical holes, we're going to punch 2 out for each little section. Okay, so let me show you how I did it and how to follow my directions. Obviously, we're going to need another spreadsheet. I'm probably going to put it on the regular cinch, just make a separate section. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set it to 1 inch. That's your slider. You're going to set your slider to 1 inch. You're going to push your buttons 1 through 10, and you're going to pull out 11 and 12. So 1 inch punch, push 1 to 10, pull 11 to 12. So let's put our paper in and let's punch. The next thing it says is we're going to put our slider to 1 and an 1/8. And if you don't know what an 1/8 is, that is the second little tick line past the 1. And I did not mean to let this turn around, so we're going to do it on the other side. You're going to put it at 1. You're going to punch, keeping it on the thing so you don't mess up by flipping it around, adjusting your slider to 1 and an 1/8. You're going to put the same piece with the holes already in it back inside, and you're going to punch it again. And that gives you these little figure 8, I guess, kind of holes. When I look at that, I see Mr. Peanut. I don't know if you guys know who Mr. Peanut is, but that to me looks like Mr. Peanut. It's just missing his little hat. And that is the holes we need to make the spirals work. Now with spirals, we don't use the back clamp. That's only for the metal. For the actual ones you have to close. These are already closed. So you basically put it in and spin it. See how easy that goes? I hope you can see that. 2 wires go in each double hole, and it fits perfectly. And to undo these, you just simply reverse spinning it. How cool is that? So I did that with this notebook. I'm going to show you in just a second. Spun my wire all the way up, and I have the perfect little spiral notebook. So let's make one using the regular cinch, and then we're going to make one using the mini cinch. Now my mini cinch has square holes, so it gives it a different look altogether, but still just as easy as using the cinch. So I've already cut out I have 2 pieces of cardstock, colored cardstock for my covers, and I have 30 pages of copier paper. And that seems to be the perfect amount. I probably could put maybe 5 to 10 more pages in there if I wanted to. I thought 30 pages was a nice number to start with. So we are going to punch our holes, and with the cinch, it punches quite a bit, but I'm not going to overdo it. I always do face down. I'm going to put it in the machine, slider at 1, put it in the machine, push. I wish I could have a way for you guys to see this better. What if I prop that up? There we go. I'm going to push in 1 to 10, pull out 11 and 12, and my slider's at 1. Kind of typical. I guess I shouldn't have used something squishy. Once I've punched those holes, I want to leave it here because I want to use the same side again. I'm going to adjust my slider to 1 and an 1/8, which is 2 didits to the right of 1, put it back in, and punch again. And there's my little peanut shapes. And now we're going to do the next batch. And I'm going to do this in 3 batches. Put it to 1, punch 10 holes, open it, put the slider to 1 and an 1/8, put the holes back in, and punch again. And now we're going to put the last batch in, put it to 1, punch the 10 holes, adjust the slider to 1 and an 1/8, put them back in, and punch again. Now I have little peanut holes. Gonna have to find me some Mr. Peanut paper just because. But now you have these little figure 8 or peanut size holes, peanut looking holes. I don't know if you can see that better. I know you're thinking that just looks like 2 misaligned hole punches, but this doesn't look any worse than the universal with these long slits. That doesn't look any worse. If it's easier for you, clip your notebook. Take your spiral. Here's the end of my spiral. Put it in the first hole. Make sure it goes in that first hole twice. And then as you spin it, you're going to see that it actually guides itself. It might get stuck here and there, especially when you have a long piece that's kind of vibrating around. It doesn't matter where you spin the wire, you're just spinning it around with your fingers, just going that way. And look, he's just working his way up. This is the way you manually make these little notebooks. I think there are machines that will put these kind of spirals in, but most of the time you are putting these in manually anyway. You're not using a machine to thread them. We have marketing material at work, and I've seen some of the marketing people, they'd actually just sit there and spin the little wires on. So now that I have them all the way, now I am going to do some research to find out how far should we go. Are we supposed to stop here, here, or in the back? I'm not really sure. So I've just been going, stopping at the halfway point, like right here. From my understanding, you just bend the plastic back, and that's how you get the stopper to keep it from untwining by itself. So then I'm going to go down to the other end, and you can use wire cutters or anything else you want. I'm just going to cut it. These are actually plastic cutters. My husband has a 3D printer, so I get to play with all the tools. And then we're just going to bend that one. I don't know if you can see that. We're just bending it. The same way you would find a notebook in the store. Take your little clips off and you have a perfect spiral bound. And guys, look, it lays flat. The pages turn easily. And then I opened it up and folded it back. And I was like, oh no, it doesn't line up properly. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But then it hit me that maybe it's supposed to do that. Maybe it's like that for a reason. I don't know. So I went and got a store-bought one that I had in a drawer. I opened it up, folded it back, and guys, look. It's because these wires are slanted. So this is going to be normal. My notebook is normal. I'm very, very happy. So now I have this cute spiral-bound notebook using a machine I already have so that I could make something different. If you've watched my channel, you know that I like to use everything I buy to the fullest. This machine is no exception. It's gotten its use, it's got its money's worth, and now it can make something new with the cute little peanut holes, as I'm going to call them, because that's so much better than a little figure 8. Now for the fun part. I'm not a big fan of my mini cinch. Haven't been since I got it. It's cute, it's small, it's usable. I like the little square holes. Not a big deal, right? Now let's see what the mini can do. So this little guy, he's half the size of the cinch. He's very tiny. I thought we were very limited, but I've proven that we're not really limited. I have a spreadsheet on my Facebook page that shows we can do all kinds of things with this little guy. But can we make the spiral notebooks with him? So here's our little peanut guy. We'll put him up here. Here is the mini. Cute little rectangle holes that fit these wire bindings absolutely perfectly. So I'm going to show you how to do it with another Crafty Tina's instruction card. Let's get these tools out of the way so I don't drop them on my toe. I'm going to take a 5.5 piece of paper, cardstock, so that I can show you how to punch the holes, and then we're going to make the notebook. This is not. Guys, I just had this here like 2 seconds ago. Well, it's a good thing I remembered how to do it because this is not the proper one. So let's make one. We'll grab our pen. We got our paper. We're going to put the left edge at the 3.5 mark. And we're going to punch. Then we're going to move it to the 3 3/4 mark. And we're going to punch it. So far, you're with me? You guys see that it's sitting here on my counter and you didn't say anything, right? All right. The left edge is on the 3.5. And then we're going to punch, go to 3 3/4 and punch. The next thing we're going to do, because this one only punches 6 holes at a time, it won't punch all 10 for us, is we're going to put peg number 3, or put the peg in the number 3 hole. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That hole goes into the little peg slot. Okay? And make sure it's all the way down. Now, because these are rectangles, they're no longer squares, you have play. You can move it slightly to the right, you can move it slightly to the left. So we are going to pull left, which means we're going to pull it as far as we can without tearing it or damaging it. We're going to pull it snug with the peg all the way down. We're going to pull it to the left, and we're going to punch. Then we're going to push it to the right as far as we can go and punch again. And by doing that simple action, we now have rectangles that are in the perfect spot to make a spiral notebook using a 4:1 pitch spiral binding. How cute, right? I really love the squares. Now, I don't know, because I don't have the equipment, so I can't guarantee it. I don't know if these measurements are going to be exactly right if you have the mini cinch that's round, or if you have the full-size cinch that's square. In theory, it should work regardless of the size holes you have, or the size or the shape of holes. The measurements for the mini needs to stay with the mini, and the measurements for the full-size cinch needs to stay with the full-size cinch. But I do believe that no matter what shape your hole's in, it will work. So let's give this machine a try making an actual notebook. So I do have, see, I can find some things when I want. Here is my little notebook. Again, it's just cardstock on both sides because I wanted a soft bound. The inside is 30 pages of plain printer paper, copier paper, basic 20-pound, cheap, find it on sale paper. So we are going to punch. Now, this machine doesn't have your little guide because I want to put it at a specific measurement. Remember that paper stopper was a big deal for me on the Mini, and now the Universal doesn't have it? I had no trouble using the Universal without that paper stopper, and for this project, I had no problem using it without the paper stopper here too. Maybe if you're bulk producing and you're making like 50 tablets in one day, maybe you need that, but so far I haven't. So with the Mini, I don't like to overwhelm it because I've noticed that the square ones, they don't cut as clean or punch as clean. So we're going to divide this out into 4s. Again, I like to do face down. We're going to take it to the 3.5. We're going to punch. We're going to slide it to the 3 1/4. We're going to punch again. Then we are going to go to the third hole, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put that hole inside our little peg. We're going to pull it, make sure it moves. We're going to pull it all the way to the left, make sure it's straight in the back. Punch, and then we're going to push it all the way to the right, make sure it's all the way in the back, and punch again. We're going to open up our little tab, and now we have our little rectangle holes. We're going to do the same thing. Don't have to do face down because there's nothing on this. This is just plain paper. 3.5. Then we're going to move it to 3 3/4. Then you're going to go to the third hole. You're going to pull it all the way out to the left. Punch. Push it all the way to the right. Punch. open the tab and remove it. We're going to do the next section. And if you're holding it, you don't have to worry about it getting offline. You're going to go to the 3.5. You're going to go to the 3 3/4. Then you're going to go to the third hole. And see what I mean about my mini not cutting clean? I don't know if that's a square hole thing or a mini thing. So if you have a square hole full size cinch, let me know in the comments if you have that problem. So we're going to put it in the third hole. We're going to pull it to the left, punch, and then we're going to push it to the right all the way. Make sure it's in there. Punch, open up our peg, and now we're going to do the back. And because this is a back, I am going to do it face down. We're going to put him in here and put it on the 3.5. 3 3/4. We're going to go to the third rectangle, put our peg inside. We're going to make sure it locks, make sure it moves. We're going to pull it to the left, but make sure everything's in there flush. Then we're going to push it all the way to the right, making sure it's flush. Open up our peg, and now we have our back. Mine is not even, guys, and that's because I was quickly trying to make this one and I didn't use my stack cutter. I just used my cutter and just kind of chop, chop, chop. So don't judge by the edges of my paper because they are not perfect. We're going to clamp it. And the reason I do this is because it holds it so that I can spin it better. If you can hold it and not worry about it, then go for it. But when I was making a longer one, it really helped to clamp it. So we're going to take our spiral. We're going to put the very end in the bottom hole. We're going to give it a spin. And remember, you need it to go in twice into each hole. Once you get started, it really does do it by itself. It doesn't require much effort. And it doesn't matter where you spin it. You can spin it up at the top. You can spin it down at the bottom. Anywhere you want to go. Just twist, twist, twist. And I'm not having to use any force or pressure, guys. It's just turning it. You can work your way down if you feel like it's getting too snug. It is not stretching. Oops, that one did not go to the bottom. It's not stretching the wire out at all. It seems to be the exact amount of space between those little rectangles to be the perfect size. So I'm back to the beginning. So I'm going to take my needle nose and I'm going to bend it like that. You guys see what I did? I just bent it down. Then I'm going to come to the back of my tablet and use my little plastic snip thingies. These are filament snips, I think is what they're called. I don't really know. I think they're used for 3D printers to cut the filament. And then I'm going to bend the back one. And you see how quick and easy it was to make these little spiral notebooks. Now we are going to need some measurements to make different size books because I still want as close as I can get, because it's not always going to be perfect. I still want to get kind of the same amount of space on each end. So we need to know how many to actually punch. But this is such a game changer, at least in my opinion. I like the square hole mini. To me, has a better look than the universal. I'm kind of getting a little attached to these long holes. I can see doing some really fun things with them coming up. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because we might be doing some interesting things with this universal cinch. But we're never going to stop playing with our regular cinch or our mini cinches or any other of the We Are Memory Keepers tools because they're just so much fun to work with. Even though they might limit us by the instructions they give and changing the machines on us, we can still do extraordinary things just by getting together and crafting. So I hope you guys like this video, but please make sure you like and subscribe. And one more thing, if you're going to want my measurements, you're going to want the actual sheets that I do make, you're going to want to come over to my Facebook page, because you can get stuff like calendars. You can also get all of my printouts for the cinch, the mini cinch, the envelope punch board, all of these lovely little things. We're about to put these in a notebook on another video, so you are going to want to come and check this video out. Thanks guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope you guys are going to be able to make spiral notebooks now, even without buying the universal cinch. They're super easy. You guys, I made these 3 when I came home from work today, and then you just saw how easy it was for us to make these 2 as well. These are going to make excellent coloring books. You can print my quarter-page lined paper. You can also print my holiday calendar that's also a quarter page to go inside of these little books. They'd make great gifts. You can tuck them into gift baskets or add them as a prize to a package. And I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Make sure you share this video with anybody else you feel it might be interested in. I'm trying to raise the number of subscribers I have. So thanks, guys, and as always, happy crafting.